fulfill what's my calling as. Okay, somebody's recording us. Are you recording us, Doug?
Yeah, because I think the people who aren't at this meeting should be. And because they're not, I'm going to send them this recording to bring them up to speed.
Thank you. Actually, that. Okay. So I don't want to lose my Rotary family. I don't want to lose the calling of my life, that being able to fulfill helping my fellow less fortunate person. I don't want to be losing the leverage of using Rotary to help me do all of this one. Number two, I stay where I am, but I need your help. I need your assurance that you're going to be helping me in everything I do. I need your assurances when I do a board meeting and no board director shows up or help me direct this meeting. I need to come back to you and tell you, here is, guys, here is subject that we are dealing with. Help me make a decision on this one. Help me come up with something that we can take this club to the next level. Don't install this club. Let's move it forward. I'm asking you to do that one. That's what I want to hear from you today, that you're going to be stepping up and you're going to tell me, John, yes, if our board is not going to direct, we're going to help you direct this club. We're going to be right there for you. I need your help on this one, guys. So I'll open up the floors for discussion for this point one. Now, rule of engagement. Lift up your hand if you need to talk. If you take a long time, I will have a pre-agreed arrangement with you that I can stop you and move on to another person. If you don't lift up your hand, I will have pre-agreed arrangement with you that I will stop you from talking. Can I have anybody's input on this one, guys? Go ahead, Lee.
Hey, John, what's the list of the board of directors now?
What we have right now, we have Peter Stam, Grace Vincent, Rosalinda, Chris Dennis, and myself as the president.
And Steve as the IPP.
Okay.
Steve resigned from that. Steve resigned from that. So we don't have a Steve. We only have myself, yourself, Grace, Peter, Rosalinda as secretary, and Chris Dennis. That's all what we have on the board right now. Between those 5 people, I am lucky if I get 1, and sometimes I get 0.
Well, I guess, did everybody read my post on Messenger?
Yes. Yes, everybody, I did. Very good.
Okay, remind
Yes,
us
we
again
saw
your
it.
post. Remind us again your post, Lee, and why is it valuable for this moment?
Well, I made a post and said that our motto is a service above self. So it doesn't seem as if the members on the board are adhering to that.
I can agree with this one. Paul, go ahead.
John, I sympathize with your problem, and it's our problem. And I don't understand why people aren't supporting it. But to me, you're going to have to go to each director directly and find out whether or not they're prepared to do what the director has to do. If they aren't going to do it, then you've got to basically dismiss them. And we have to find somebody else who will attend your meetings once a month. Because you can't keep going on like this. You're getting nowhere. Right? You're just flailing in the water, trying to get people to do things. And that's not fair to you. And it's not fair to the people who supposedly said they would be a director. But you are the only one that can go to them directly and say, are you in? Are you out? I've got to know. And you've got to put it bluntly to them.
Thank you, Paul. That's going to be taken to heart, and I like that direction. Thank you, Paul. Doug, I'd like to hear from you too.
Well, I think it's very discouraging for our president and even for me. And John has, as part of a stopgap measure, John invited myself as incoming secretary next year And also he invited Brenda, who's going to be a director next year, to attend the meetings, to get up to speed on things, but more importantly, so he has more people to give input. And some people don't even show up, but even worse, they don't even RSVP. And we can all understand if somebody has a valid commitment somewhere else, or if they've got a family or a work issue, I think anybody can accept that. But I think our president deserves at least the courtesy of an RSVP that, hey, I'm thinking of you guys. Sorry, I can't be there because I'm laying in the hospital with a broken neck, or whatever the reason is. But even worse than a yes or a no is no answer at all. And I think that's very frustrating. The last meeting, I was there as an observer. Linda couldn't attend, so I got asked to do the secretary's duties, which I did. And Grace was there and John. So really, there was only 2 of our board members there. So we didn't even have a quorum to make any motions or do any decisions. And that's very, very discouraging for the leadership in this club. And John will be presenting a motion this evening for us all to accept the minutes of and the decisions of the board, but we couldn't really make motions, so we showed them as a consensus, and hoping that all the members have read what I sent out last week, and we need a motion from the membership to accept the minutes of that meeting. Otherwise, we're wasting our time. And so we really do need to do, I think, what Paul said. And I know that John has reached out to some of these members, and 1 or 2 have stepped aside because they've got other commitments with family.
Brenda can't get on.
That's totally understandable, but I think I agree with Paul. If people can't help pull or push, then at least get out of the way. And we've got to know where we're at with the commitment of these members. We brought in 2 or 3 new members in the past few months. We're meeting, Grace and I, tomorrow with 2 more new members, former Rotarians who have relocated to the Woodstock area. They're quite excited to be joining us. I have already shared a bit about them in my email the other day. We've got another 3rd potential member who was a member of the other club in the past, but he's a friend of Mike Shaheen's, and we're going to be talking with him along with Mike. And we're going to talk later in this meeting about each one, reach one. But we really do need to get back to making Rotary fun, to enjoying our Rotary time, and not always having to be talking about discouragement or negative things. This club does amazing work. When you look at the Rotary showcase that we did with the other clubs in the cluster, it was just amazing what we presented, and we blew the socks off any other club in the cluster. So we're small, but we're very mighty, and we got to get back onto the positive side of Rotary, the fun and the fellowship. And of course, COVID is a challenge. We all know that, and so I urge us not to get too down in the dumps because of the COVID challenges, because I think once COVID's gone away, we're going to be much better prepared to move forward. And there are all sorts of people waiting to be asked for Rotary. We just got to promote public awareness and get talking to them. And I'm happy to help with anybody to do that. We'll talk more about that later.
Thank you, Doug.
John, Brenda's trying to get on, but she can't find to get on.
The link is
I
sent by
put
John
the link on the messenger.
Yeah, the link is there.
I sent her a message that I put the link on the messenger. Hopefully she'll be able to get in. Otherwise, it will be an internet problem from her side, because there is nothing else I can do besides sending the link right now. So
I can send her an email with a link on it.
that would be nice, Michael, if you can do that, please. Thank you. I appreciate that.
I don't know her email address though.
Okay, let me help you.
I just sent it to her.
Yeah, okay, thanks, Kim.
Thank you,
It's
Kim.
done. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Kim. Okay,
Kim, you could almost run across the street.
so what I'm hearing
and
from,
tell her.
here's Brenda.
There you
There she
go.
is.
Here she
Got
is.
it.
So I heard two things that they are loud and
Hey,
clear.
Brenda,
Hi, Brenda.
welcome.
Just
You're
unmute.
muted.
You just need to unmute, that's all.
Hey, sweetie pie.
Unmute yourself. Unmute.
Lower left corner.
I'm trying.
All right.
There you go.
I've been trying since 10 to 7 to get in, and it kept asking for a passcode.
Yeah.
And I don't
Rotary.
know.
Passcode is Rotary.
And then I messaged John, and I messaged Doug, and I phoned John, and I phoned Doug, and I was like,
That was her.
Oh, I don't answer the phone when I'm on Rotary meetings.
yeah, well, it was
Okay,
me.
let's go on, John.
All righty, so we have two bullet points right now. One from Paul that's mentioning down, go directly to each director, talk to them directly, see if they want to direct or if they want to stay, take the heat or get out of the kitchen type of thing. So I'm gonna do that exercise and I'm gonna come back again and tell you, here's what I heard from this, here's what I heard from that, here's what I heard from her. And I'm gonna hold those people liable to what their answer is. Because enough is enough. For us to move forward, we need to hold people liable to their positions.
Accountable, not liable.
Accountable. Thanks, Doug. That's why I chose you as a secretary for next year. Thank you.
I know you think I'm a liability sometimes, but don't say it in a public meeting.
That's our treasurer talking.
That's right. Yes, liability. Yes. That's right. So I do appreciate that one. I'm gonna move from this one to the pod. Okay, by now I sent an email for each one of us about the pod and when you are expected to be on pod duties. I don't know what pod stands for, but what I know about pods is when your name is on it, you are the person responsible with two other colleagues or two other members to plan that month, which is we even went ahead and gave a roadmap from this one. The first week to become a club assembly, and the second week to become a speaker, the third week to become a Rotary project. The fourth week is to become a speaker, and the fifth week, if we have a fifth week, to have a family night type of thing or fun night together. Unfortunately, I keep sending this pod list. Unfortunately, the people on the pod are not doing what they're supposed to do. Last month was kind of very nice example of what the pod was able to do and put together. And I want to thank Lee and Brenda for last month. December was very nice. They were able to sit down together. They were able to plan that month, and we all knew ahead of the time what's happening. I got called on Wednesday afternoon at 3 o'clock, call asking me, are we meeting tonight? What time are we meeting tonight? And what are we talking about tonight? Every Wednesday, guys, I get these calls. And not from one person, and not from two persons, and not from three people. I got it from quite few people telling me the same thing. Are we meeting tonight? What time? How are we meeting? This thing should be already in our agenda. Wednesday night is Rotary night. We are meeting no matter what. Unless Doug Ford goes there and says we cannot meet on Zoom on 2, then we are meeting. Between Zoom or in person, we are gonna be meeting on Wednesday night. Take note of this one. Go for an entire year and mark your calendar. Wednesday night, Rotary night, we are meeting. Change your life around and make sure that Wednesday night you are available. Pod, please get together and make something nice for that month. Let us know what's happening that month. If you need help, Doug Vincent always have speakers underneath his seat that he can pull out and help us out. If you need help, come to us and tell us, I need help. But be prepared to take help. Don't get offended when we jump in and tell you, here's the help, here's what we think we should have as speakers. And then you get offended and say, oh, you're taking my job. No, we're not taking your job. Nobody's taking anybody's job. We are family here, we're helping each other. So I want to plant that culture inside of us. When Doug is hopping, when Peter is hopping, when Brenda is hopping, when Lee is hopping, when anybody is hopping, that's what actually they're doing. They're just hopping. They're not taking away anybody's job, and they're not discounting you per se. So pod need to do their pod jobs. Pod need to tell us ahead of the time what's happening in the next months. Does everybody have their pod list and knows which months they belong to? And a show of hands, could everybody have the pod list?
Somewhere.
No, John, send it to me, will you?
I will send it one more time. I will email it back one more time, and I will put it on Messenger because we all have Messenger and we all will see it on Messenger. I will email it one more time for everybody. Please.
There's also a list of it in the Members Hub Facebook group. I've got to go in and update it because we've had some new member additions, but all of this is always on the Member Hub, and same as the link to get into the meetings. You just have to go there, and the link is always there. It's the same link every week. I don't know, Brenda, why it asked for a password, because the password is supposed to be in the link, but the password is Rotary with a capital R if anybody has to have it.
Yeah, it was a different password. It was a bunch of numbers that it showed in the link.
That's the meeting ID. You are correct. The meeting
Yeah.
ID number is 998 something. You're right, but the password is Rotary. You both are correct on this one. Okay, so enough about the pod. I'm gonna do, so number 2 for me, number 1 is go to every director. Number 2 is send the list of the pod. And going forward, I need your commitment about that pod. If there is a pod that's not doing their job and will take over on that one, I don't want that pod to be feeling that they are discouraged or feeling that they are left behind, because that's exactly what you are. You are left behind. You didn't do your job. So let's face reality. You didn't do your job. You are left behind. We are doing your job because we owe it to the club membership to make something valuable for them for their Wednesday night. If they want to commit their Wednesday night for us, we have to commit something valuable back for them. So if I take over or somebody else take over your job, do not be discouraged or do not be offended per se. Or if you are offended, leave it for yourself. Don't even share it with us. I am sorry to say that with all rudeness and strength, just because it's enough is enough. We're going nowhere. We're spinning the wheels again and again and again. Number 3, we all want project. We all say, okay, we don't want to be a dinner club. That's what I hear over and over and over again. We don't want to be a dinner club. I'm not Rotarian because I just want to join you for dinner. I want to do something. So guess what? Saturday, we have a project every Saturday. Guess what? I'm lucky if I have 1 or 2 people all the time. Sometimes 3 people shows up, sometimes, but I'm lucky. It's Bill that's always there. And thank you, Bill, for that. I don't want to discount you for that one. Thank you, Bill. But the other, all of us, once in a while, we are so happy to have you. We are so happy when I see Mike Shaheen. I'm so happy when I see Paul. I'm so happy when I see Lee. I'm so happy when I see Linda. I'm so happy when I see Brenda. And I'm so happy when I see Doug. We're so happy to see you. But we have a project, nobody shows up. So we don't know. If we do dinner, nobody shows up for dinner. We do project, nobody shows up for project. What's happening, guys? So let's go back to what Paul says. Either you want to be part of this or not, one of the two. Decide that. If you just want to be a friend of Rotary, tell us that. I want to be a friend of Rotary. But if you commit, you want to be full Rotarian, then you commit to this family and you are a member of this family.
Hey, John,
Yes.
just to let you know, on Saturday, I will send Kevin for my place at the community table because I have to do the course, the webinar for the foundation on Saturday.
Thank you, Linda. Thank you. I appreciate that. I think you would share that with me. Thank you, Linda. So we talked about the board of directors. We talked about the pod. We talked about the project. Anybody have any questions or any input about the project? Anything that you want to see and you're not seeing? Paul, go ahead.
John, who do you have for Saturday? I volunteered and Bill volunteered. Who else do you have?
Kevin is coming for me.
Kevin?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's 3 of us. Now, is it, but no one has said is anything about is it hot dogs? Who's supplying them? We know nothing, so tell us.
Okay. So is this what you like to know? You like to know what you are cooking when you're coming on Saturday? Because all I'm after right now myself is I know who's coming on Saturday. Whatever needs to be done on Saturday, we'll do it, Paul. Like sometimes we go, me and Bill, and they're serving pizza and we just be pizza people. Sometimes we go there and they tell us it's barbecue. And if we have hot dog, we'll do hot dog. If they have hamburgers, which you did it, you helped us with the hamburger yourself. So if you want me to be detail oriented and tell you exactly what we're serving that, I will be more than happy. I don't know. All what I know, we are doing the barbecue on Saturday. We will make sure that everything is ready to go on Saturday. We need your body to become a cook and help us cook those, whatever it is in there. That's what we need. But if you want to know exactly if it's hot dog or hamburger, I will be more than happy to answer that too, when I have the answer for that.
Well, I think,
Wait, Lee, Paul, finish.
I think that Chris needs to let us know what's happening each Saturday, because you can't just have people show up. We have to be aware of what we're doing before we get there.
And that is absolutely correct, Paul. The only problem we have right now, because of COVID, we had the 4th Saturday of the month planned out. The 3rd Saturday of the month usually is our Saturday, club Saturday, and we do barbecue if it's hot dog or if it's hamburger.
John,
However-
John, can I just interrupt and let's get back on track to the purpose of this meeting? We're now entering into a committee meeting for the community table, and that's not the intent of this discussion. That this can be a standalone discussion for that. I think afterwards, that we don't need to get into the details of Saturday, which is robbing time for more higher priority issues that you want to cover.
Okay.
Might I suggest that?
Thank you, Doug. So I gotta wrap it up, Paul. What Doug is saying is correct too. So this, because of COVID, things changes on us, and that's why we are covering up a little bit extra than we supposed to, Paul. That's why we are in Desiree right now, nothing else.
I
Lee, you had
I think the question really is, do the members want to do hands-on community projects like we think they do, or do they not? Because in the past, when we've tried to organize projects, not just the community table, but other ones like the Christmas dinner or the ham dinner or other things that we can't do quite easily now with COVID, but do the members want to be engaged with hands-on community projects, whatever they may be in the community, to serve the needs of the community? Or if they're not going to show up, that sends a message that they're not interested in doing hands-on projects. And again, as I said before, it's a matter of at least letting people know that, yes, I would be interested in coming, but I have another commitment. Like, at least you know from people who's coming and who isn't, but they do have an interest in doing it if their time allows.
Thank you, Doug. Lee, you had a question?
Yes, I question was, is Peter on the pod for this month?
No. This month is Grace, Mike Shaheen, Kim. She sent her regret for us her month. She have a busy schedule. And I believe Grace.
Here's Grace, Kimmy, and Chris.
And Chris.
Yeah, Grace for the captain.
So Pira is not. Pira is next month with you, I think, Lee.
No, Peter is
Okay.
not. He's with me in April.
Here, that's really immaterial. I had an email from Peter, and he wanted to know if I would go down Saturday to the community table, but I already knew that there were 3 people going. So it's not necessary to have 4 people down there. They're in one another's way.
Okay, thank you, Lee. Let me go back to what Doug brought to our attention. The question is in here, do we want to be committed to a committee project or not? That's the question. Being we serving hot dog, being we doing hamburger, being we doing whatever it is. Do we want a community project and do we want to commit to that one? Or if I am free, I will jump in. And if I'm not free because of whatever reason, because the sun is not on my side, I'm not jumping in. If that's the case, you are a Rotary friend and I will welcome you among us. But as a Rotary friend, if you are a member, you need to jump in and help us when we have to jump in. The 3rd Saturday of the month. We need to be there, guys. We need to be there. I need to have a problem that way. I have too many people not begging people to come by. That's the problem that I should have, or we should have as a club. Okay, so we have number one, board of directors. And we're gonna go with Paul recommendation. Pod, I have all your words that you're gonna commit to your pod going forward. We will know what's happening in February before February starts. Number three, we wanna commit for our community project. We have a lots of things that's gonna happen. We have lots of people that need our help, and that's what we are in our club. That's why we are Rotarian, because we wanna put our hands up and help out people. Number four, it's the best one ever. I have very good news about it. Each one bring one. Doug is gonna take the floor on this one. And then he already shared, there is potential, actually more than potential. There is three new members that will be joining us very soon. We will see their faces very soon. And then Doug, if you want to take the floor and then do that movie, and we will leave a little bit of questioning in the back of it, because after that also we have a couple of other news that I want to share, and we go from there.
Okay, John, just to wrap up our commitment point, I really think, and this has been on my mind for some time, and this is an opportune time to share it, is that yes, Rotary is a volunteer organization. And yes, we know that COVID is an overlying challenge for us the last year or two. Yes, we know that family and work obligations must come first, but it's the communications that we need to get in touch with each other. If we can't commit, at least have the respect to the chair of the committee or to the president to send him a note and say, I can't come because of other reasons. And then lastly, a lot of people think that because this is a volunteer group, that gives you an excuse not to commit or not to be accountable. But once you take on the role of being a pod member, being a committee member or a chair, or being a director of the board, then you do have an implied commitment to do that job. And so then it's not really appropriate to use the excuse that I'm just a volunteer to abort your obligations to the club and to the president. So yes, we are a volunteer organization, but you do take on an implied commitment when you accept a certain role or a certain task on behalf of the club and the members. So let's try and be strong for each other, support each other. And the culture in Rotary generally is, if I cannot attend a board meeting, or if I can't do the task I was assigned, it's up to me to send an email written report. So just because I'm not at the board meeting, if I'm expected to give a report, that's no excuse for me not to send the report via email to the president in advance. Or if I can't do my role because of some other commitment, then it's my obligation to find another Rotary friend in the club to go and take my place. It's not as easy just sending an email saying I'm not coming. It's say I'm not coming, but Bill is going to take my place, or John's going to take my place. So I just wanted to put that little cover onto the commitment side, which has been on my mind for quite some time. So now we're going to move to, John asked me to do a little bit on the each one, reach one. And I think you've heard it from our RI president. You've seen it in the Rotarian magazine. You've seen it on the websites that he's challenged each of us to bring a Rotarian to Rotary in our club this year. And so I think the question is, how are we making out on that? Are we taking on that request from our president seriously? And so I'm just going to share my screen now. And it's about a 3 or 4 minute video just to remind you of what the point is here. And I'm hoping you can see that. I'm sharing my screen here. Can you see a black screen right now?
Yeah.
Get ready to not only serve yourself, but also inspire others to serve, to change lives. Today, my dear change makers, we will talk in detail about making the big change in the membership of our organization. 20 years back, when I was the district governor of my district, the membership of Rotary worldwide was 1.2 million. 10 years back, when I was elected to the board of Rotary, the membership of Rotary was still at 1.2 million. And now, 10 years later from that point, when I got elected to be the president of Rotary, the membership is still at 1.2 million. Don't you think it is time to change this? Don't we all want to change this? Can't the 1.2 million of us come together to make membership growth our individual responsibility and take the membership to at least 1.3 million? Let's do it by the end of your year as leader of your district, so that 10 years later, you may not have to repeat that Rotary's membership is still at 1.2 million. Friends, we are a membership-based organization, and members are our biggest asset. It is members who contribute to the Rotary Foundation or raise money for it. It is they who do good in the world by doing meaningful and impactful projects. It is they who have toiled for 35 years to bring us this close to eradicating polio. They are the ones who tell the story of our work to the entire world. Only with more members and more participants can we serve more and change more lives. It is membership that we all need to concentrate the most on during the forthcoming year. Our vision is to reach 1.3 million by 1st July of 2022. And our call to action is, each one bring one. This is not a difficult task, I'm sure, to share the gift of Rotary with just one additional person each. But for this to become a reality, it is you who will have to sharpen the focus in ensuring that the message, each one bring one, reaches every member. I repeat, I request every member in your district to share the gift of Rotary. And as each of us brings new members, let us focus on diversity and let us get more young members, female members to our club. Let us focus on Rotaractors becoming Rotarians. I also request every club to have a robust system for regular follow-up through the club president. Keep inspiring them, motivating them, ask them to lead the way. Communicate regularly, directly, or through the membership committee chair. Request that every club establishes goals in Rotary Club Central for club membership and new member sponsorship. Let bringing in member be a celebration at every club. Every new member will be welcomed with a personalized letter, and I will thank every sponsor of a member with a personalized thank you letter. And at the Rotary International level, we are designing additional ways to celebrate and recognize those who have demonstrated success in growing Rotary. We already do an excellent job in recognizing the generous financial contributions to our Rotary Foundation. Your efforts and the efforts of every sponsor of new members also deserves recognition. Let us have a virtual gallery that celebrates who have sponsored most number of new members. And this would be available for the entire Rotary world to see for posterity and be inspired. It will be virtual, so it will be possible to view from anywhere around the world by everyone within and outside Rotary. When you succeed in each one bring one friends, you will always be remembered as the change maker district governor, as you would have changed something in just 17 months what we have struggled to change for more than 17 years. Even as we welcome new members, we will strive hard to retain each and every existing and new member. When each one brings one, we are opening our front doors for large number of new members in every club. Let us also ensure that no member slips out of the back door. Engagement of members is as important as getting new members, because it is engagement that ensures members to stay. The pandemic has forced many clubs to innovate and adapt. They have found new and exciting ways of engaging members and other participants, and even re-engaging absentee or former members. We must ensure these innovations and changes to how we do Rotary continue even after the pandemic is behind us. My own club, Rotary Club of Calcutta Mahanagar, has had great virtual meetings. At one of our meetings, we had 2,400 attendees for a club with only 90 members. Friends, engagement at Rotary is at its peak. I'm aware of so many other clubs who have done amazing work in engaging Rotarians. Strong and vibrant clubs surely ensure better engagement and better retention. So let each one bring one and let us retain all. I am sure with your leadership and our focus to grow Rotary, the target of 1.3 million is not going to be difficult for you, the change makers. Together we can, and together we will.
So I think that's a good reminder of President Schecker's challenge to each of us. And I think when we look at each one bring one, he's referring to bring a guest, a colleague to Rotary. We don't have to put on a sales show to promote Rotary. Just bring guests out and let Rotary sell itself. And at next week's meeting, John has asked me to share a presentation, which will be partially a video and partially a discussion on this idea of attracting members rather than prospecting members. Have people coming to us like these last three have to show an interest in Rotary and see what Rotary is doing in the community, and that will help. I think the other very important thing is retention is even a larger problem than bringing members in. And we all know that for various reasons, people may leave Rotary to due to job transfers or other issues, retirement issues, or moving away. But we really do want to each reach out, and we've got 2 or 3 members who for various reasons haven't been very active in the last few months. And I urge you to reach out to those folks, give them a phone call, send them an email, because we got some really valuable members who have kind of fallen by the wayside, at least in their attendance and their participation. And I am concerned that every day that goes by where they're not engaged and we're not seeing their friendly face, we don't want them to fall by the wayside. And it's great to see Kim on here. Thanks for making the effort to come on, Kim. I know looked like you were cooking supper for your family, so we really do appreciate you making the effort to come on. But for those others who aren't showing up, we got to reach out to them and say, you know, what is it on the Rotary buffet table that we're not putting? They're obviously not getting something that they want, and we've got to try and figure out between us what it is that they want, because we want to keep them all in Rotary. They're very important, solid members that have been in the past, and we don't want to lose those folks. So I do urge you to do that. When we talk about each one, reach one, I'm happy to tag team with you if you want to talk to somebody over coffee. A couple of us can do it. We've got the Rotary Woodstock Oxford pamphlets that we produced for the fish fry, and I've got several that were left over. And sometimes I know members are afraid to talk to colleagues or friends because they're not sure if they'll be embarrassed when they don't have answers. But I'm happy to give each of you a couple of pamphlets. I can drop them to your house if you need, and you can hand the pamphlet and let them read through the pamphlet, which answers pretty much what we do locally in Rotary, and share with them what your passion is and what your story is, what you enjoy about Rotary. And the taglines are that Rotarians are business and community leaders who meet each week to discuss ideas about needs in the community. And then we develop projects and plans to make difference in our community and take action. So the 3 taglines are join leaders, create ideas, discuss ideas, and take action. So if you take those 3 points as the framework, then you can hang on to that framework, your own ideas. But we're targeting 30 to 50-year-olds, males, females. We need new energy, young blood. Think of who your doctor is, think of who your dentist is, think of who your car salesman is, think of who the store owner is where you go shopping for your shirts. Think of anybody that you deal with that's an entrepreneur, a businessman, a community leader, and see if they might be interested in sharing the good work of Rotary and pass them on with a pamphlet. And as I said, I'm more than pleased to help you do that. And I do believe John is coming up with a little contest program, and that is that everybody who brings a guest, there's clubs who have doubled their size while Zoom has been their meeting during COVID. There's a club in Ottawa who added 20 members. There's a club down near Detroit who added 18 members. Club in Columbus, Ohio, who doubled from 30 to 60 their membership, all during the COVID challenge, all during the Zoom meetings. And so there are clubs around that are doing it. And we just got to give more focus to R.I. Schecker's request to each one bring one and start targeting those people in the demographic that I've described, 30 to 40-year-olds who are active in the community. And let's see if we can get more guests to our meetings. Of course, if the pod is doing their job as John has asked, we'll have good programs, good speakers, and hopefully, clubs book me out 3 months in advance. And I know where I'm speaking 3 months from now, and they promote that in advance. So if we can get the pods to do a little bit better in their planning, promote it ahead of time, and then that also gives you a reason to invite a friend or a guest if there's a program that you think will be particularly interesting to them. So the president or the membership committee of one can't really do it all. We're all on the membership committee. And so I just really urge you to think about who you can invite out as a guest, and then let Rotary activity sell itself, refer them to the Facebook page. And as I said, I'm here to help you. If you get in touch with me, I'm happy to try and help you.
But you can also bring them to the community table. I can't go there every Saturday because of my work. I work on Saturday mornings. But one of the things that you can show them what we do in the community is to bring them to the community table. They don't really have to work. They just have see and be a witness for what we do in the community. And that would be a first step maybe for them to test the waters.
And just a couple things in closing. I've been after John, and we've got to work on something for a Rotary presence, because other than Peter and I who wear our Rotary jackets or vests, the public doesn't even know who's there in terms of Rotary. So I know John's got a sign he's going to get put up on the shed, and hopefully we can maybe, I mean, we've all in the past had these golf shirts, but they're not practical for cool weather or winter. But even the Rotary pin is the start, or your Rotary name tag. So, you know, pins, name tags, Rotary hats. Hopefully the board can agree to get us some vests that we could wear either in summer or in the winter under with a jacket underneath. My last point is, friends, you know, let's stay positive. We're doing great work in the community, and that's our prime reason for being in Rotary, is to make a significant impact, make a difference for people who are in need in our community. So let's not lose sight of that. And you know what? If we had 25 members in this club, then all of these problems we're talking about tonight would be gone, because we would have more membership, more commitment. And, you know, part of our challenge is that, you know,
One of my words, Doug.
Part of my challenge is that we've got, you know, not enough members to do all the work we're trying to do. And if we can get to 25 members, then I think all of these problems and concerns that we've got would largely be dealt with. So sorry, Lee, go ahead.
I said, Doug, that was one of my words, commitment. And you know about my 3 C's. Anyway, I don't want to take any more of John's time. John has got work to do there, so carry on, John.
So I'm gonna second what Grace said. I'm getting called left, right, and center from other clubs telling us what are we doing with the community table? What are we doing for the homeless? What are we doing for the less fortunate people in Woodstock? Woodstock is on the map. We are getting to be known that the Rotary, Woodstock Oxford Rotary Club is a friend of the homeless or the less fortunate people.
Okay.
We are there. They're asking us our opinion. They're asking us, where are we in the tiny homes? They're asking us all kind of things when it's come to helping the less fortunate people. How are we getting the food? How are we making fundraising? And all of those ones. So yes, what Doug and Grace is saying is correct. Bring them to the community table. Let them watch us what we're doing.
Yeah.
And then Rotary would sell itself. So I want to ask everybody right now, because we're gonna segue to another subject right now. This subject is gonna continue on next meeting. I will segue on another one. Did everybody get the minutes from our last Rotary meeting, board meeting? If yes, and you read it, we can make a motion on moving it. If not, I will leave it till next time in the promise that you're gonna ask me if you don't have it, or in the promise that you're gonna read it by next time. Because
John, it was emailed to everybody, so everybody has received it. I apologize to you, Paul, for the mix-up in your email. I've been going to call you. I'm just going to make a motion that we approve the minutes of the board meeting as a membership and agree with the actions and decisions made during that meeting.
I second it.
I'll say.
Okay, I am comfortable to say that you guys read it and you understood it. That's why you're seconding it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, sound very fair. So Linda, can you write down that motion please for us? So Doug moved a motion for it and was seconded by Bill. Thank you, everybody.
Call the vote. Call the vote.
Call the vote.
Yes. So I'm gonna be asking for vote. All in favor?
All
Lift
in
up your hand.
favor.
Who's second?
Bill McFarland. And everybody says yes, that's good.
Opposed, if any?
I think everybody put their hand up, so there's
Nobody's-
no opposed. Okay, from here I have three different positive subjects. We had the chance, me and Doug, to meet with Pastor Stephen Owen from IPC, Intercup Presbyterian Church. And we are in talk right now to work in some kind of umbrella that Rotary will hold.
No, exploring the possibility, not in talks to do it, exploring the possibility.
Thank you, Doug. That's why you are my secretary. So we are exploring, my future secretary, I shouldn't say that right now. Sorry, Rosalinda. So we are exploring the possibility of having Rotary as an umbrella and kind of organizing all the effort that's happening in downtown. Downtown right now, there is Cycle of Life, there is our community, Rotary Community Table, there's IPC, and there's a couple of other people that they're doing side works, all of them toward the homelessness, all of them toward helping each other. However, sometimes those efforts are duplicated. So on Monday, we have two people doing the same thing. And on Wednesday, we have nobody doing it per se. So what we are hoping to work on is getting every day of the week, somebody is doing a project and helping the homeless. So the homeless or less fortunate person can every day of the week go to a place and have that warm meal or that meal that he needs or she needs. So that's number one talk with IPC. Number two talk right now, or we had an offer from Cycle of Life, which, by the way, for all of us to know, we do hold as a Rotary Club a seat on their board right now ourselves. Cycle of Life invited us to co-join with
Operation sharing.
thank you, Doug, with Operation Sharing, so we can make a proposal to the city that will entitle them or that will enable them to use the old Children's Aid Society building on Light Street to make it as like a transitional shelter, which means the less fortunate person or the homeless person can go there during the day, do his or her laundry, have a meal, maybe a place to sleep if it's too cold outside, and next day move on type thing. So we do have that invite. And I need to ask your opinion today. Do you want us to pursue that invite? Do you want me to work on talking to Operation Sharing and see if this is something we want to take on?
Well, not necessarily take on, John, but at least be part of the support in principle to get the city off their duffs to do something. I think it's too premature for us to say we want to take it on. It's basically they're inviting us to an exploratory meeting. That this may be the start of a meeting for all of the groups in town. So this in a way could be the nucleus of what you mentioned as your first point.
Thank you, Doug. That is correct. Mike, you have your hands up.
Yes, please. Can I ask who is taking the lead with this and who is preparing the proposal?
This is an invite right now. So we are in discussion mode. We are talking about to our membership if this is something they want us to investigate more, if this is something we have the appetite for. So this is only an invite right now from Cycle of Life for us to co-join with Operation Sharing and do that proposal. So it's an invite and it's up to us right now. The ball is in our court and it's up to us to say, yes, we do have the appetite for that. And that's what I'm hoping to hear from you folks. Remember, the cause is.
If I could just throw in a comment, John, I think for sure we want to accept the invitation, at least to enter into the exploratory talks. That's no obligation on our part for money or resources, which we may be a little shy of right now. And obviously with our transitional shelters project, I think it might be a good dovetail, but we don't want it to be a competition. We want it to be a complementary, and I don't think we want to spread ourselves too thin, depending on where the transitional shelters is going. But like Mike, I don't know what your schedule's like, but like somebody like you who has knowledge of the proposals and you're also on the transitional shelters committee, it might be useful if you had the interest and time to be part of that meeting, just to brainstorm ideas and see where it goes. And then you might be in a better place than John or I or anybody else, since Peter's away. You would kind of know where you're at with the transitional shelters. I see this as step one. This transitional shelters is a step up from this, but at best, the transitional shelters would help maybe 10 to 15 to 18 people, where maybe these groups are going to, I mean, without knowing, I'm guessing it's going to be more like a larger in out of the cold sort of thing. But is that something you'd be interested in, Mike?
Sure, I'd make time to do that.
Yeah. I think it's a good public awareness for Rotary to be involved. If we had one or two people, if they form a committee, if we had one or two Rotary members on there, if you're interested in participating in that, let John know, and so he can include you in the meeting. I don't think there's any commitment on our part for money or time or resources at this point. That would all come back to the club and the board. If the board can't decide, then it would come to the club, recognizing that we already have the transitional shelters committee going, and so we don't want to spread ourselves too thin, but hopefully we can get more reporting from that committee, because as a member, I don't hear anything. So if I don't hear anything, I assume nothing's happening, but I think there is. So we got to get a regular monthly report coming from that committee, which I think would be very helpful in my view.
So be careful what you wish for, Doug, because my last thing was to keep the floor open for Mike, because Mike Shaheen have very exciting news about the transitional shelters or the tiny homes or pathway to prosperity.
Well, John,
Mike, yeah.
John, so let's make a decision here, because we don't want to move on without everybody concurring that, or at least the majority concurring that it makes sense to accept the invitation to participate in an exploratory meeting. Is there anybody against that? Okay, so I guess you've got a consensus then, John, to move forward. And I'm glad Mike's here, by the way, for this next part.
Okay. So we can move on the meeting to Mike. Mike, you have the floor for the next 10, 15 minutes.
Okay,
Starts right now. Bob.
thank you. Yeah, we were talking earlier, and there's been, this committee has been working for more than a year now, trying to thread the needle to pull some things together. And it's been involved in some politics and sort of bumped heads with some other people, but I think we're starting to see some positive things happen. One thing that I would ask, and this is really quite serious, we have a community partner that has a property that is agreed in principle to host this project. And they are very adamant that they don't want the street talking about it. So it's, I guess, protect their wishes, but still tell you the same thing. We in fact do have a property in town that will host the transitional shelters project. We've built a prototype, found out what works and what doesn't work, and we've spoken to all the different agencies in town that look after everything to do with affordable housing, to mental illness, all aspects of homelessness. And there's a subcommittee or a larger committee from the community. It's called the site management team, and they meet every 2 weeks, and they're gradually developing the model of just how you develop and maintain a community of homeless people, and how you reintroduce them to society. But it's, as I said, it's the host doesn't want his name on the street right now, because we've still got to do some work with the municipality, with the city of Woodstock. And the complication came from the fact that anything to do with housing, and that's a very, very broad term, by the way, but anything to do with housing starts at the county level. And there's a trickle down to Woodstock. So Woodstock, the city of Woodstock can initiate it, but they can jump in if the county is saying, let's do it. So, and the city of Woodstock has certainly not been negative when we've talked about things. They've talked about, there's lots of issues of maintaining it. You speak to the fire department, they have opinions. You speak to the police department, and they have history in dealing with these kind of things, and it's a day in and day out affair. But all those people are open to listening, and they respect Rotary and what Rotary stands for. So we get legs right off the bat. We need a building permit for part of this transitional shelter. We need approval of, certainly not council, because the land is zoned appropriately, but we do have a few boxes to tick. We have a design group that are helping us put that part of it together. So it's a lot of pushing, but we're starting to see things move a little bit, which is a good thing. The potential of this program with the former Family Children Services building, that certainly wouldn't get in the way of a transitional shelter. And the thing that the committee has been pushing with everyone that they talk to is that this this transitional shelter can become a reality a lot quicker than a conventional building can. And ironically, that's a bit of the rub, because most people in the county and the city would like to have something when they think of affordable housing and everything that goes with it. They think of permanent buildings, and they see a multi-residential building before anything else. But there's commitments to go with this going forward. There's a financial commitment. We've certainly got some fundraising to do, and that certainly wouldn't be we need some significant seed money that comes from, say, the province. And just to give you an example, that's not a pie in the sky thought. The province of Ontario gave the city of Waterloo $8.5 million today, or at least announced the grant of $8.5 million to convert a former hotel to a homeless shelter. And that's about the 5th one that's happened this year. And so it is possible, and it is, in all cases, there was a product champion, if you like. There was an organization, a service club, a local agency that was really the quarterback and the instigator of the whole thing. And a number of other service groups got behind it to do it. There's an organization in London that is doing one with, it's called Arcade, and they're doing the same thing. None of these projects, none of these initiatives are a standalone, if you will. They're not one organization, sort of one voice. There's a number of agencies behind them. And as this thing moves a little bit, it starts to move forward, we'll be able to talk a lot more about the detail of it and hopefully involve more people in it. That's pretty much the broad brush of where we are. Be happy to ask any questions or answer any questions.
Well, that's really good news, Mike. Thank you so much for sharing. That's, for a small club like ours, that's amazing results so far, and the future success sounds to be in good hands.
Well, the interesting part is, and I didn't say this, and I should have, there's 4 people on the committee that one of them was a Rotarian at one time, but he's retired and retired twice. But there's other people who have never been involved in any kind of service club, but saw this as an opportunity to do something. And they've been with the committee, meeting every week on Tuesday nights for more than a year.
Sign them up for Rotary, Mike.
Yes, invite them over. That's awesome news, that's for sure. So Mike, as a club, what are we standing here? What do you need from us? Do we have anything that we can contribute or help at this moment? Or should we just sit on the sideline right now and wait for more things to happen or take effect and then jump on board?
Well, we don't want this to be a make work project as far as Rotary is concerned. We don't want the job of delivering meals every night. We want to get this thing going and have it going within the community and let the community pick up on it. And that is to say, with Canadian Mental Health and the different service agencies that are managed by Oxford County. That'd be their job to do that. So at the moment,
that's typical of successful Rotary projects, that you're going to build self-sustainability into it, that once Rotary gets it up and running and withdraws, it can continue on and self-perpetuate it.
Yeah, and this project as well is a pilot project because nobody's really done one of these until recent time. These transitional shelters, they've popped up all over North America. Of course, there's some climates that is easier to do than others. California is big on it. British Columbia has established a few of them, and even there's a process for screening the applicants, for the people who live there, because fair to say that, yeah, there's some people that like living rough. There are a lot of people who deserve a hand up, and they need to be identified and seen differently than the person that just wants to hand out. And this whole program is about giving people a hand up. The first step into reintroducing them to integrating back into society and working on their self-esteem and their self-worth. So they would come and they would stay in these transitional shelters for 6 months to a year, and then they would move into more permanent housing. We wouldn't do that. The system would do that.
Mike, is there any foreseeable date for completion of the project?
Not really, Lee. We have we're trying to do the political thing as well. At least not step on any toes in the process. But you know, we're hoping to have something more meaningful going by the time spring comes around.
Okay.
Like what the transitional shelters themselves are literally 100 square foot cabins. That's where people they can close the door and lock it. They can keep their belongings in there. And they're supported by a communal building that is about 800 square feet in round numbers. It has washrooms, laundry facilities, a communal area, a counseling space, that sort of thing. And it's there to support them. And they make a commitment to live there. There's certain rules that they have to abide by. It's part of the hand in glove commitment that they make. And but there's no meals are provided, but there's no commitment to do meals, much the same as there's no meals are provided at the community table, but it's not nobody put a 3-page document down and said, here's how those meals are supposed to go.
Mm.
You just make them happen as best you can. But once again, the county steps in to see that happens.
Anybody else have any questions for Mike? Okay, I think we owe you a big thank you, Mike, you and your committee. Good job well done. Thanks very much for this report. Actually, you shed some light for all of us. We were all excited to hear something about this, and today was the day. So this is why, guys, I like Rotary. This is what Rotary is for us. This is my happy Rotary, when we are able to do those kind of things. And we are able to do it because we are corporately joining effort together, putting our hands together, and we'll be able to do that. So anything for the good of Rotary before we leave, guys?
As I said, if I could just add again, we
Yes.
did promise our host that we would keep it mum's the word until we got formal approval from the city to proceed. But we have an agreement with the host, and the host that's as good as a handshake, and they've been at the table with us ever since.
We all heard that. Anything for the good of Rotary? I cannot hear you, Doug.
We got a couple of things that I think we should just touch on. One was Peter sent out the final voting for the benefit trust. Apparently, we did some nominations, but he felt we didn't vote. And so he took an email vote. Do we have to formally declare that that vote passed, or what's your knowledge of that?
That'd be a board decision, wouldn't it?
Yeah, you took me off guard, Doug, on this
Well,
one.
it's actually a benefit trust issue, but all the members of the Rotary Club are also members of the benefit trust. But we just, you might want to touch base with Peter. I think we do need a formal confirmation that there was a vote and that the vote passed, with a final listing of who's who on the nominations for next year.
Okay, I will get back to you on this one as soon as I get all the.
And the second loose end, and I may have missed this, but I don't think I did. We still do not have a president that's been, or a president-elect rather, that's been, you've been nominated, but to my knowledge, you didn't accept. And I don't know that anybody else has offered their skills and talents. And last I recall, you were going to get back to the membership with your thinking, and I'm not sure if that's still an issue to be dealt with, or where we're at on that.
Thank you for opening up that can of worms. The issue that I had talked about in the beginning of this, it is the issue that I have. I would love to see another person. So let's face reality. I've been doing this position for almost 3 years, or almost 4 years off and on, let's say. So I would love to see another person stepping up, and I would love to be able to be the supportive person for that. If there is anyone who would like to become president-elect and entitled for that, and would like to put their name forward, I would be more than happy to support that person. If there is no one for that one, and because of my love to the membership and because of my love for my Rotary family, I will put my name forward again one more time, knowing that what we talked about today, we're going to be obeying it, and we're going to be steadfast to help each other. You know what? We cannot like leave it on one person alone. We all have to pull together, guys. Like, you know, it's very important. I don't want to complain, but also a person can get tired, and the minute the person gets tired, he doesn't have fun, or she doesn't have fun doing what they're doing. And then that will show on the result of what they're doing. And I don't want to get to that point. I want to be able to be having fun with what I'm doing in here, so I can give you good results for all of you, and I can support all of us and get the better version of all of us. So that will be my small speech. I want your support so I can in turn support back if I am the president again. Yes,
John, I'll gladly support you if you'll do one thing: delegate more. I know it's a difficult job. I realize that. There are members in this club that are not fully committed, but you're going to burn yourself out if you don't. So please keep that in mind and delegate as much of the workload as you can. You got other bodies here that can handle it.
I will take your word to heart, Lee. I want to apologize for all of you, because honestly, the people that I have in the screen right now are the people who are involved and are the people who are supporting me. Unfortunately, I was airing up on the people that they are not here and they're not supportive in reality of everything. So when I say I need your support, I need all of our support together, I think, right? Like Lee, you are always been a pillar of support for me. Paul, I can say the same thing about you, brother. I can say the same thing about each and every one of you on the screen right now, that you always been behind me and always positioning me for success and always helping me. But we need more. We need, like, all of us to be together type of thing. And I think what Paul said, I'm going to take it for granted. I'm going to be very upfront and take whatever Lee you tell me. I'm going to take, and I'm going to be precise. And I'm going to say, Lee, I need you to do this. Do you want to do it? Yes or no? And I'm going to say, Paul, I need you to do this. Do you want to do it? Yes or no? And I'm going to take the clear cut answer from the person. And when they say no, I'm not going to approach them again on another one whatsoever. I'm going to say, okay, you know what? If you are not going to be part of this part of it, that's it then. Let's move on to another person that will like to jump in and take it apart. I don't want to go back again and again and again to a board meeting that there is no board for them to ask. If this stuff happens, I'm coming back to you guys and I'm going to say, okay, here's what we have in front of us on the table. Like what the cycle of life proposed to us, like what Mike is telling us. We want to move on. The board is not here. My job is to talk to the board. The board is not doing it. So we want to do it together. So we're gonna be board members on the club level. That's what we want to do. Yes, Mike.
For the good of Rotary, John, I personally thank you for thinking enough of Rotary and the membership for expressing yourself tonight.
I appreciate that. Thanks for saying that.
Very good. I agree. I agree.
I agree.
with that.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
I think the bottom line is that John is saying he's going to commit himself to our club if we need a president, and it behooves each of us. And I'm going to send this recording to those who are not here, and I hope they take the time to watch it, because they also have to show some commitment in return to John. This is not a one-way street. If John's committing to our club and to us, then I think it's only fair that we each commit to him and the leadership of this club to make it go forward. I'm sure we can do it. We get some new blood in here, some new energy. I'm sure that we're going to go places in the coming year. I'm aiming for 25 members, folks. So we agreed to that at least 3 or 4 years ago. The whole club agreed to target 25. We've been not getting a lot of traction on that, but we got some traction coming. Soon we'll be at 20. So we just got to keep working away. Each one, bring one, please.
Absolutely. And let's don't forget, I do have a new ball for the club.
Did he get that from you?
Good night, everybody.
From Santa.
Thank you.
Good
very
night,
much.
all. Have a nice evening.
Okay.
Good
Good night. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
God bless.